So we can give a shout out to the title company, but
oh yeah,
we can change that.
Oh, they took the key.
What do you need the key for?
No, they had the big giant key.
Oh, hey, what's up, everybody? This is VP the Mentor, Cash Flow Chris over there getting set up. We are ready to start the AZ Flip, guys. Episode 50. Episode 50. Before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Great American Title, who's letting us use their facilities here. So instead of using my dining room, we're using an actual conference room. So, what do you need? Oh, the plug? Yeah. That's fine. Let me send that over here. Where are we at? Fine. There we go. So we're just going to cash flow. Chris is just getting everything set up. But one of the things that we're going to be talking about here today, what?
Got a plug?
Fuck.
Nope.
Does it reach the computer?
Let's see.
It may reach the computer. So anyway, one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is mindset. We got all of our different books over here that we like. Cash Flow Chris brought a lot of his books. I will mention out some of my books that I like. Is that going to reach?
Nope.
Not at all. Hey, I think you can plug that in there, right? Isn't that a freaking USB?
I thought so. I don't see one.
No?
It's alright.
Okay. Well, either way, we'll figure it out. So we have to make sure you keep an eye on that because last time mine died.
We'll switch it
and
out.
the key's right over there on that side.
Oh, yeah.
So today we're going to be dropping,
what?
Yes, we're going to be giving you the keys. The keys to the kingdom. The keys to the mental kingdom. The keys to the game, to be quite honest with you, because that is what it is. So let me shut that off.
What's up, man?
Good. How you doing?
How's it going?
Good. Man, life is fucking awesome. Great American Title. Yeah, thank you, Great American Title, for letting us use this. This is Mary Sayer, right?
Yep.
Mary Sayer, if you guys are in the Phoenix area looking for a title person to use, Great American Title, Mary, she's great. She's been working with investors for a very long time. One of the things that we say all the time here is it's not about the actual title company, it's about the title agent. And Mary is one of the ones that we use here quite a bit. A lot of different people use her.
Yeah, Mary's the marketing rep as well. So she you know, if you need, you know, she sent us all kinds of stuff, all kinds of resources. If you want to skip trace or whatnot, you want to find people, tax records.
Yes, and that's always a great thing about having a good title person to go to. So anyway, big shout out to Great American Title. So today we're going to be talking about, we got Keon in the house here, we got Pam Bauer, we got Amy, Nifty Fitty, yes. Scott Wally Novak's in the house. Hey, thank you for joining us here, Scott. So guys, as we said, this is our 50th episode. That's a lot, pretty good.
It is.
You know, we started off as a pretty much kind of like a mastermind. Chris used to come over to my house every single Friday. We used to talk about deals. We used to talk about our deals in particular. For you guys that know, he's a realtor as well as an investor. So he was my realtor, and he was representing a lot of my deals. And at that time, we had, I had like 14 flips going on at once. So there was a lot of deals that were happening, and there was a lot of interaction going on. Some of the deals, sometimes, you know, he came over and told me about some of his deals. Sometimes he needed money. Sometimes I needed money. And then we just kind of started, hey, you know, wouldn't it be good if we just kind of shared what we're doing here together? A lot of people were constantly asking us information. So initially we started by putting together a little seminar. Remember that?
Oh, man.
That was like 2 years ago, man.
Yeah, and that was fun, but you know what? It just didn't capture what we were looking for because we just wanted to go bigger. You know, we didn't want to be two guys in a small room.
Well, we did the seminar thing, and then we actually did a few property tours. But that's not what we wanted to do. We got Keon Gray here who says he's caught about 45 of them.
That's right.
He has. And
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you for that. As I said, Keon, send me a message. We still need to meet together to talk about doing some stuff in some other states. Anyway, send me a message. We can talk about that later. But we do appreciate you and everybody else. For anybody here on Facebook watching this right now, please make sure that you share this. Anybody on, we have people on YouTube over there. Make sure that you share this with your friends. Invite people to watch the show. As always, we don't pitch anything. But today we're going to be talking about something that I'm passionate about, which is mindset. Mindset. You get mindset from books. You get mindset from the people that you hang around with, masterminds. You get mindset by going to events like the one that we're going to here. The one at Secret Knock, which shit, man, I just realized we're leaving So I'm planning on being there the Monday of,
Right.
and then staying there till that Sunday or whatever. So that means that after next Friday, I'm probably taking off sometime maybe Sunday night or somewhere around that time frame.
Yeah, we gotta set it up because I'm gonna be out there Tuesday. I'm headed to San Francisco Monday for a training event, and then I'm gonna just fly right in,
Yes.
stay till Sunday, and set up a ton of appointments, establish relationships. I mean, we're going there so we can be the two dumbest guys in the room.
And that's always what you should intend to be, is the dumbest guys in the room. I say that jokingly all the time, but we really mean it. And part of being the dumbest guys in the room is that you get introduced to these type of concepts over here. So I will, being in personal development, being in business in general, you eventually start to realize very quickly that you are the cause of everything. And I've talked about this before in different videos, but today we're going to be talking about this specifically. If any of you guys have any comments, if you guys have any questions about anything, please feel free to chime in if you guys got any questions or any comments about personal development. But the biggest thing that happens that I see in most people is that they want to come in and they're always asking, how do you do this? How do I go there? How do I market? How do I sell property? What contract should I use? What book should I read? What class should I go to? Who should I listen to? But the one question that they never ask is this one right over here. Starts with the why, right?
That's what I'm reading right now. That one's really powerful.
And the thing is that most of these books are powerful, but I didn't even know to read a book. I mean, I knew to read books, but I didn't know to read these type of books until I got into business.
Right.
Until I got into real estate. Because you start really realizing that regardless of what people do, you get to create your own reality. In 2008, 2009, when the market was just tanking and everybody was losing their ass, there was people that were making money.
A lot.
There was lots of people. There was people that were making a lot of money. Mm-hmm. We talked about some friends that I know that literally bought up neighborhoods because they were buying them so freaking cheap.
Yeah.
Like it was cheaper to buy a house than it would take for you to build a house. It was insane. It was insane. But you have to be, you have to follow different things, and you have to learn from different people, because if you're listening to the masses, you're going to end up just like the masses. So one of the things that happens here is personal development is the greatest thing that you get to learn, because you eventually start learning that you make your own reality. You make your own happiness, you create your own heaven on earth, or you create your own hell on earth. And those are all things that are happening in the mind. So as you start growing, as you start getting out there, we have this misconception as human beings where we're like, nobody understands us. Nobody goes through what we go through. This is hard. I can't talk to nobody, which is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of freaking bullshit. And at the end of the day, you have to realize that here is where the power lies. Whether it's here, whether it's here, whether it's here, or whether it's here, whichever way you go, because there's many different types of books. You can read comic books, you can read fantasy novels, you can read all kinds of stuff.
My wife is a huge novel reader. Like she reads probably 50, 60 books a year. Like she's crazy. And she gets real mad because she's like, oh, I finished 4 books already this month. I'm like, oh, I've done 3. She's like, oh, those aren't real books. But you know what? These are real books. It's not telling me a story. It's telling me how to become a better person, though. It's giving me strategies. It's giving me tips. Even Paul Arona last night was telling me, he has a very low expectation for the books that he reads. If he can get one good key aha out of it, he considers it a win, because a lot of these books, a lot of them say the same stuff. They just say it differently.
Well, it's all how you relate to it, and that's the thing. That's the benefit of personal development, is that it's all the same shit, guys. It's all the same shit. If we take music, for example, it's the same fucking shit. There's only so many musical notes. The scale only goes that long. That's all just different variations of the same thing. That's all it is. Right. So this is all personal development stuff. These is all different variations of the things that they are for you guys. And the way that, somebody like a Sharon Lecter and a Greg Reed will explain it is different than somebody as a Simon Sinek, or whatever, however you say his name. Different than a Gino Wickman.
Yeah. This is a perfect example. So this is specifically a book about growing a business. You know what I mean? This isn't motivation. This isn't anything like that. This is strictly this. So I've read 4 books in the last 3 years or so about the exact same subject. They all say the exact same thing for the most part, but they tell it differently. So I read The 4 Disciplines of Execution. I read Traction. I read Scaling Up, and I don't remember the other one, but at least those 3, they talk about a lot of the same things, but this was the one that I liked. This was the one that it worked.
It resonated with you, right?
Exactly.
And then we had Charles Peralta say Traction, it's fire. And it, you know, guys, there's always, you have to surround yourself with people that you want to be with. So we're going to be talking about specifically mindset here today, and books are a great way to get into the subject of mindset, and we're going to go back to all these books, but specifically we're going to be talking about the mindset that it takes to become a successful real estate investor. And that's what most of you guys are here for. You guys want to learn about real estate. So in order for you to become a successful real estate investor, you have to understand that we're in it for the long haul, okay? That's why one of my favorite books, that's why one of my favorite audio series is something called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
I forgot that one, but this is the journal that goes along with it. The Compound Effect. Oh my gosh.
And in chapter 1 of The Compound Effect, the very basic formula of that, or the concept of chapter 1, is the microwave mentality, which is that's the mentality that everybody has. They want to be able to boom, 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 everything gets fixed, your dinner's done in a minute, you're all good to go. And it doesn't work like that, especially if you want long-term lasting success. Now, if you don't want long-term lasting success, there's a lot of gurus out there willing to pay you or sell you some program that will show you how to maybe make a quick buck right away, and they'll show you examples of people that actually did it to make a quick buck. You know, so-and-so happened and they made some money here and there, but in reality, most of those people, including the people that they talk to, the success stories, most of them don't sustain the success. And a lot of it has to do with this, the mindset. A lot of it has to do with how it is that you look at the scenarios and the situations that you involve yourself in. And a lot of times we don't know that we don't know that we don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
It's so true.
When you're first getting started, you don't know the tying the shoe is a great example of the way that it was taught to me. When you're first born, you don't even know the concept of shoes. You may be wearing shoes, but you're not even aware that you have shoes, right? That's not even a thing. Eventually, at some point, you realize that you don't know, that now you know something that you don't know. So when you're a baby, when you're a toddler, you don't know that you know. You don't even know what a shoe is. Eventually, once you get to a certain age, you now know that you don't know how to tie your shoe. You know that there is a shoe, you know that it's got laces, but you don't know how to tie it. Then, once you get past that, then you want to go into, and we'll talk about the actual terms about this, but then you go into, somebody teaches you, right? So you teach your son how to tie their shoe, and you tell them this way, the bunny, the loop, the ears, whatever technique you teach them. So now the kid is going to continue doing that, and eventually you get to an age where you're doing that without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like at this point, I could tie my shoe while talking to you guys and do all that stuff, and it won't change anything because it's already ingrained in us. Mm-hmm. But initially, of the shoe tying example, you don't know what you don't know, and that's where personal development comes in. Most of the time, you don't know what you don't know. A lot of these concepts that are talked about in the book here, like for example, it starts with why. That's a concept that I didn't learn till personal development. And I was all about, man, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to go here, I want to go there, I want to go da 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 da. But why? And that is a big reason why most people don't ever do anything of any significance. And the people that do something of significance can't sustain it because they don't know the why. But it's the mindset, guys. So once again, if you're looking to be a fly-by-night wholesaler, a guy that does 1 or 2 deals, a guy that gets into the market, or a guy or girl that gets into the market when it's hot, does 1 or 2 deals, thinks that they made it out, and all of a sudden goes loses their ass. If you want to be that person, then by all means, there's a lot of people out there, but we're teaching you long-term sustainable success. So one of the things that we're going to talk about here is particularly getting information. So there's 4 steps of change. We'll talk about that. I'll post this. I'll type it up here as I'm going. But step number 1 is you're unconsciously incompetent. Okay? So if we're talking about the example of the baby and the shoe, the baby doesn't know even what a shoe is.
Right.
The baby doesn't know that he needs to know how to tie the shoe. So he's unconsciously incompetent. All right? And you guys have to understand that it's okay to be unconsciously incompetent. That just means that you don't know. That just means that you were never taught. That just means that that you've never even heard of this concept.
Yeah, that just means that you never heard, even thought about investing in real estate. You never even thought of the concept of wholesaling. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You didn't even know that was a thing.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of times people get how do I say this? They get hung up. They get upset about the word incompetent. What do you mean you're calling me incompetent? Blah blah blah. No, I'm not calling you dumb. I'm just saying that you don't know what you don't know. Like you were not aware of it. Just like you said, there was a point in your life, and in both of our lives, when we were growing up, when we didn't even know real estate was a thing. We didn't even know real estate investing was a thing. You know, when I first wanted to get into real estate, I just knew that I wanted to be a realtor because that was the only aspect of real estate that I knew. And the only thing that I could associate in my mind was that people in real estate usually had money, or at least weren't living in the ghetto. That was the only thing that I could allocate my particular mind to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me see. I'm just putting in this right here, incompetent. So anyway, I was unconsciously incompetent in that area, and you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay that look, I don't know everything, and that's one of the biggest mistakes that I'm sure you've seen. You can agree with me from pretty much every single newbie is I know that.
Yeah, I know that is one of the three of the worst words. It's simply because you always need to be learning. Once you decide, oh, I know that, then that's where you turn that switch off and you stop even trying to learn. I mean, the fact that people stop learning once they get out of school kind of blows my mind because for me, school, I just didn't like it. So being able to do and study what I liked, I'm like, awesome, and
Yes.
I found something that I really enjoyed.
Oh, I fucking hated school, man.
And so, yeah, exactly. School, It was just like, how do I just get over this? Just finish my work, do it. Be
So
done.
I purposely went to an alternative school my senior year of high school. My brother was he was getting in trouble in a regular high school, so they sent him to an alternative school. And then I went in to go talk to the principal, and I said, hey, I want to go with him. And they're like, yeah, but you got good grades and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, fuck this school.
Yeah.
I want to get the hell out of there. I heard that I can get credits in a short amount of time and I don't have to put up with this bullshit.
So weren't you at Trevor Brown?
I was in Trevor Brown.
Yeah.
So it was basically like an alternative school anyway.
I was saying, I think I don't want to get out of it too.
It was what it was. I didn't care for it, man. I've never been the school spirit guy. I don't understand that crap. People are all my alma mater, my this, my that. One of the things I see a lot with my friends, and that I date, mainly black women and stuff, and I don't like ghetto women. I like educated women. Well, a lot of black educated women are very proud to go into the HBSU, which is the historically black schools and universities or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a certain little unit things that they go. But I mean, I've never been into the whole school spirit stuff. I think it's just another way of kind of brainwashing you into the system and kind of making that process not seem as bad as it is. But regardless of the concept, you're still unconsciously incompetent. If you were growing up and your whole life, your mom you saw was doing good, your dad you saw was doing good, everybody around you saw was doing good, and they all went to college, and they were all telling you that that's the only way to go, and you have to go to college, and you have to get a degree, and that's the only way that a good company will hire you, and you have to work for a good company, and you're going to get pension, and you're going to get bonuses, and you're going to get this, and 401ks, and all these other things that are over there. You don't know that there's a different way.
You're right.
You have no idea. You don't even understand that there's a different way.
Because of this.
Yes.
Reprogramming, right?
And we will talk about that. This book here particularly here in just 1 second. So we got Ivan in the house. Ivan, thank you for joining us here. So Ivan, quick story on side note here. This goes all to mindset. Ivan is one of my students. Before we say that, Christina and Michelle, thank you for joining us over here. So Ivan is one of my students. He reached out to me. He needed some mentorship, so I said, sure. We've been talking with him. Ivan is a very smart guy, but he's just like every single one of you guys out there. I know that. I know. Hey, you should be networking. Yeah, I know. You should be doing this. Yeah, I know. So you should definitely come to my morning mastermind meetings on Tuesday. Yeah, I know. And never fucking did. Ever. Recently, he's been working on some deals. He was finally able to lock down a deal, right? Because of mindset. Because he started showing up to these morning meetings. Because he started listening to the CDs that I was telling him. Because he started reading the books that I was telling him. Because he started networking just like I tell him. So he gets a deal, and he's gonna make like $1,700 or something along those lines, right? Not bad for his first deal. Congratulations. He partnered up with somebody else. Whatever. That buyer ended up backing out. So now he's stuck with this property. He needs to get rid of it. So he started.
Welcome to the world of real estate investing.
Yes, and if it was easy, everybody would do it. Yeah. But this is why we're spending time on this particular topic, guys. This has to do everything with real estate. It may not be real estate related. We're not talking numbers and deals, but this has everything to do with real estate because you need the strong mind to sustain you in this. If it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was just about getting your license, putting some post on Facebook like, hey, I'm a realtor, guys. Get at me if you need to buy or sell a house. Everybody would do it, right, man. I mean, God.
I mean, think about the highs and lows that he just had, you know.
Well, and here's
how many hours you have to work to make $1,700. So he's like way up here,
exactly.
And then he gets that phone call, he's way down here.
Well, so now he was up here, down here. Now he's like up here because he got another buyer without a partner. Then he's going to make about $4,000. Yes. However, guys, this right here was a huge undertaking. And Ivan, if you're in there, man, let me know. You know, tell me yes or no. Let me know if I'm lying, if I'm full of shit. Let everybody know. But this is what it is, guys. The Secret of the Millionaire Mind by a guy named T. Harv Eker. Yes. This book here changed my life. Now, I had been introduced to the concept of personal development before, but I didn't know that it went down this deep. You know, the first book that I read was something called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, which is a great book by a guy named Dr. Joseph Murphy. It's just a great book about how your subconscious controls everything. But I didn't understand that, you know, knowing that your subconscious controls everything and learning and understanding how that works and understanding how to control that are two completely different things. And that is part of that's part of the movie The Secret. They introduce you to the concept of the law of attraction, but in reality, they never tell you how to do it. So The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. This book right here, I was introduced to this book by my mentor, Jeff Fagan. If you guys have been following us on the HC Flip guys, you guys hear us mention Jeff Fagan all the time. If you guys are in the Phoenix area and you are not attending the 2% Club, shame on you. This is a multi-millionaire teaching you his secrets. And the biggest part of his secret is this particular book called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, written by his good buddy T. Harv Eker. And T. Harv Eker basically is a multi-millionaire. He just took the speaking world and the personal development world by storm by doing the stuff that he did, by doing it the way that he was doing it. But more importantly, in this book, he teaches you the hacks and he teaches you what are known as wealth files. And basically, wealth files are differences between rich people and poor people. One of the things that happened in this book is that T. Harv Eker is broke. His dad makes a decent amount of money. He's living in his dad's house in his 30s. His dad has a poker game going on. He comes up to get a sandwich. The guys are taking a break. His dad's friends are all wealthy. One of the guys happens to be a very wealthy business owner and says, Harv, you know, like you got a lot of good potential in you and you got a lot of good whatever, but the only thing that you're missing is that there's things that you don't know. You know, the only difference between who you are and who you could be is there's just things that you don't know.
Right.
So, and as he started doing his research, Harv did, he started looking at all these successful people and he started noticing one thing in common, which was the mindset. So he started determining what is the right mindset versus what is not the right mindset. Now, at this particular scenario, he was unconsciously incompetent. meaning that he didn't know things. He didn't know that he was supposed to learn mindset. Nobody ever taught him that. Everybody taught him work, hard, hustle, right? So we got Tiffany Walker in the house. He says, yes, I knew and I love the AZ Flip guys. Yes, black strong women. yes, and yes, I love me some fucking black strong women, man. Hey, that is my weakness.
I saw Black Panther last night, man. You want to talk about black strong women? Oh man.
Man, dude, that was intense. Great movie, by the way. Great movie. We're not gonna give any spoilers here today. As a comic book fan, as a comic book movie fan, a Marvel fan, they did an awesome job. As a fan of positive representation for minorities, that was amazing. As a fan of black women in general, whoo, yeah, dude, that was, man, I have never been turned on by so many sexy, bald-headed women in my life.
Yeah, they're just missing one thing from me.
Yeah. But guys, it's all about the mindset, though.
Yeah, so let me tell you a little bit about this. So this, for me, was also such a game changer. A guy that I worked with, total weird guy, but he gave me this book, and it came with, his marketing technique was that it came with 2 free tickets to MMI, right? Millionaire Mind Intensive. Well, I couldn't get anybody to go with me, and so I just flew out to LA myself. You know, I loved the book. It really was, it blew my mind, right? And so I went there. I was really broke at the time, and I made it happen. And it, talk about getting out of your comfort zone. Have you been to an MMI?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as an introvert, one of those, you know, it's a difficult place to go to, but it was really big. It changed things for me because I wasn't consciously incompetent of the fact that I could have a preset. You know, my blueprint was preset.
Yes.
And I didn't grow up poor, but my mom grew up poor, and my dad grew up poor. So that was the blueprint that I received.
And one of the great things that I like about this book is that not only he tells you that we don't know, but then he teaches you how to go past that and how to actually go through it. So step number 2 is now you are consciously incompetent. And I'm going to put that up here right now.
So now it's like, all right,
now you can
invest in real estate, you can wholesale, you don't need money to do this, but this and that. And so now you're aware of the concept, but you don't know anything about it. You're right. You have no idea where to start. You don't know what to do. So you're conscious of the topic, right? But
yes.
You're incompetent with the.
And with going to the MMI, for you guys that don't know, that's short for Millionaire Mind Intensive. That was the name that they used back then. They used to run a company called Peak Potentials. It's been sold a few times now, and I forget the name. I think it's New Peaks, or I'm not sure exactly what name they're using now. They're calling it an MME or something along those lines. If you guys haven't been to it, highly encourage you. It will change your life if you let it change your life. Worst case scenario, at least it will change your outlook as to what your mind is and how it acts, and how your relation to money and success and all that stuff is moving forward. But guys, now you're consciously competent. So now, as a little kid tying your shoes, you know that you have to learn to tie your shoes. You understand that you don't know how to tie your shoes. As a real estate investor, now you understand that, look, there's this concept called real estate. And you know, people are making money. The AZ Flip guys are making money. All these other people are making money. I want to make money. How do I learn to do that? Now you're consciously competent. Now you understand that there's something that you don't know. And a lot of times what happens is that most people can never be consciously competent because they're so afraid to admit that they're unconsciously incompetent.
Right.
So many people are so closed off and what are you talking about? I'm not dumb. Are you calling me dumb? Like, no, dude, I'm just saying that you're dumb to one particular subject. And if I remember correctly, I want to say it was Plato, Confucius, Socrates, one of those people that said, the one thing that I know the most, or my biggest lesson that I've learned, is that I don't know anything. Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what it was. The biggest piece of knowledge that they knew is that they don't know anything. And my mentor talks about it all the time. If you were to read every single book about one particular subject right now, by the time you're done reading all those books, there'd be a whole new book with all these updates on that particular subject. We're constantly learning as we're going. And guys, that's where personal development comes in, because you're constantly learning. Now, a lot of people ask me, hey, Brian, you know, like, what seminars do you go to? What real estate books do you read? Which are none, like very, very little. Most of the time what I'm doing is I'm going to personal development stuff. So now you're consciously incompetent or consciously competent. Now you know that there's something that you need to do, but you don't know how to do it. And that's where these things come in. That's where the books come in. That's where the seminars come in. Because every single one of these is different people sharing experiences. I've mentioned to you guys that I am writing a book. My book should be out by sometime in, you know, summertime, end of summer, somewhere around there. I have to still figure out all the publishing and all these other little things going on with the book. But this guy right over here, actually, Mr. Greg Reed, who is an international speaker, who is just an all-around badass when it comes to book, author. I think he's written like 60 books, and I think 35 of them or so have been bestsellers. So
you know what? Let's plug this real quick. I don't think it's sold out. So if you guys want to join the Easy Flip guys in what is it, 2 weeks?
I'm sure that they're sold out.
6th and 7th. Is it sold out?
Yeah, I'm positive that they're sold out. However, the one for September coming out, they got tickets for that one.
Okay.
So
yeah, Secret Knock. Check it out.
David Sandoval says he just ordered that book. What book is that, David?
Yeah, which one?
We got Edgar Ochoa, who says he loves this topic. Thank you, Edgar. And guys, we need to understand that this topic is not sexy. It's not like, ooh, check out these checks, check out this watch, check out this car. It's not like that. It's not a bunch of hoop, boom, bum, boom. No, we're not doing any of that, man. All this is your base and your foundation. And it's boring. I understand that. It's not a fun topic for people. People don't want to admit that they don't know. People don't want to admit that they need help. I said this. I recently wrote a poem, and actually I used this particular line in my poem. But I said, if you don't know something something is broken, you will never fix it. And if you don't think that it needs to be fixed, you won't do a good job fixing it. And that's how personal development is. So now you know that you don't know. Now you need to learn where to go. And that's where these things come in. Books, learning, personal development. This is amazing. Now, these people, this person, my book will be me sharing my experiences with it. And actually, in order to make it not so boring, I'm actually going to be writing parables. So I'm going to be writing stories and showing you these different scenarios on how these characters were able to take this particular concept that in my particular case is clarity leads to power. That's the name of the book, that's the name of the concept, that's the name of the whole brand that we're going to be going with, clarity leads to power. But to be able to move forward in that realm, you have to understand that all these people are sharing their information. And you are not the only one that's ever gone through this. Do you know how many times I sit there and I'm talking to my assistant and we're working on something and I'm like, we got to do this. We have to find a way to track all the numbers for our apartment complex. Dude, let's just call a bunch of people that own apartment complexes and let's see what they're doing, because we can't be the only person doing that. We're running a new company right now with the open houses, and one of the problems that we're running into is that we want to find out how to create, how do I say this? We want to find out how to add a rush charge on these orders. And we want to create, so basically our order form, if you put an order within this amount of time, then you're going to pay this rush charge. Right now it's a retroactive thing where we have to go back and oh man, you put it within the time lane, here's your bill. Half the people pay it, half the people don't.
Off,
yeah, and piss people off. So we're looking at it and I'm like, you know what? We can't be the only people that have had this problem before. Let's look it up. And we have found many solutions to many problems by that particular. But this is your version of looking it up. This is your version of going here and looking at things. This great book. Sharon Lechter, one of the original people, Think and Grow, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Greg Reed, worked with the Napoleon Hill Foundation. They put a lot of great information into this book. But now you are consciously competent, and now you know that you need to learn. Now you know. Now you go and you start networking with people. This right here, this book that he printed out, and these are all just kind of you may be able to see it. I want to see if we can see it here on the videos. But this right here is known as the E-Myth. This is a must-read for every entrepreneur out there. This is a must-read for every business owner out there. This is a must-read for anybody who's thinking about starting a business. Somebody who's been running their own business for the last 20 years. This is a must that you need to read. The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. It is such a crazy, crazy, crazy book.
Yep.
Now, this is the power of mindset. Hey, thank you, Angelique, for joining us. We got Michelle back here joining us here. We got David Sandoval, who says he says Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. That's the book that he just got.
Good job, David. Hey, that's awesome. And he was supposed to hit us up last night. He ditched out, but I think there was a girl involved. So we're okay. David for Black Panther.
Oh.
And then Ryan says, congrats on 50. Keep it going. Hey,
yeah,
Ryan,
buddy,
thanks for watching,
thank you.
Ryan's got a cool business going. He does the Airbnb, but cars, the car version of Airbnb.
Yeah,
Turo,
yeah.
He's killing it on it, man. So
great.
There's so many different ways to make money.
So many different ways, but whichever way you do it, guys, make sure that you're reading the E-Myth. Make sure that you are putting that in. So when I first started, many people told me about the E-Myth. Like many people told me about the E-Myth. But my mindset wasn't right to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand that. I didn't even consider, I didn't even want to hear it. I didn't want to grasp the concept of it.
Yeah.
But
you know what? I think this is a really good reason why a lot of these turnkey, I don't know, maybe this is a little off topic here, but I think this is how a lot of these new companies are coming about, because they simplify this for everybody. So for example, the Turo, the Airbnb, they set up a system.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's dummy proof.
Mm-hmm.
So you're coming on and they already have the system in line. You can't change it. There's nothing you can do. It's your own little franchise.
Yes.
And it seems like that's how every business is moving. Like I go to Home Depot and there's no level of management anymore.
No.
It's just a bunch of people who know nothing.
A bunch of employees who know
like everybody gets paid the same thing. It's all equal ground. So, you know what I mean? So they're creating companies, and like Uber, Lyft, right? They created a system. You don't gotta do anything. You just gotta turn it on and drive, right?
Because of this book, because of the lessons that I learned in this book, my new company that I launched is specifically just that. Mm-hmm. We've talked about it many times, that I made this shit idiot-proof. We wanted to make sure that our employees couldn't fuck it up. But it came from this. Now, the E-Myth basically says that the entrepreneurial myth, the E and the E-Myth stands for entrepreneur, and the entrepreneur myth, which is that the myth is that a lot of people think that, hey, man, you know, entrepreneurs, they're these people that work tough and they overcome all these obstacles and they work really, really hard, and that's a bunch of bullcrap. Mm-hmm. Most of those people are not business owners. They are self-employed. And in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talks about the cash flow quadrant. And you have on your left side and you have on your right side. And your left side is employee, self-employed. On the right side is business owner and investor. However, most people that claim to be a business owner are really self-employed. And this is what the E-Myth basically does for you. In addition to that, it gives you examples. It gives you prime examples of people that started their business and were self-employed versus people that started their business and they actually created a business system, and how you're able to scale. And what happens is that with most people, and this has probably happened to you, if not it will happen to you, or has happened to somebody that you know. Let's say that they're really good at doing something, right? In this book, he uses a baker, for example. Mm-hmm. So the lady's a baker, and she's really good at baking pies, so she just starts her own business. And then it goes really good and everybody's telling all her friends, and then she's getting more business that she can handle. So she decides to hire a few people to help her out, and then she's getting more business that she can handle. The employees are not doing this well, and she doesn't have any type of management in place. And she's got one lady who kind of acts like her manager, but is not really a manager. And then she decides to leave the company, and now this lady is screwed because none of her employees really know what to do. They're all kind of all over the place, and she's got this big old company with all these. Now she starts failing orders. Now her reputation starts getting messed up, and before you know it, she has to shut down and scale down her business all the way to where it's just her.
Exactly, and it's because of what I just wrote. That's what the phrase he uses in the book. She's a technician having an entrepreneurial seizure. Yes. You know what I mean? Just like our Caesar, thanks for joining us. Our AC guy, Caesar, just joined. So Caesar says, hey, I want to start a business, but he's an AC guy. He's a technician. He knows how to install. He's not a marketing guy. He's not a manager of people. So in order to run his business, he has to do this stuff to learn how to do it. You know what I mean? I think one of the best things that you can figure out is that what you're not good at.
Yep.
You know, and bring someone in to do that because.
Hey, Joanna, thank you for joining us here. And that is the purpose of this. This is the purpose of reading the books. This is the purpose of going to the seminars, because you don't know what you don't know. Now, Caesar, he's an awesome dude, right? He's a great guy. He's very reliable, all that good stuff. But he doesn't know what he doesn't know. He only knows what he knows.
Yeah.
So if he knows how to install AC units and find AC units and do all that stuff and make sure that your AC unit is working and then it's throwing off heat. I use him for my rental properties. I've used him for a lot of my flips. He's very good at doing that. However, that skill is not the same skill as it is to building a business.
Right.
And when I first started my first company, which was a bandit sign company, I needed to make a decision whether I was going to be a bandit sign guy or I was going to own a company with employees and
big
procedures.
Difference, man. That's a lot of work.
Complete difference. And I know it's a lot of work, and that's why people don't do it.
You know what? It is a lot of work, but it's not a lot of work, because the work, the hustle, the placing the signs, that's not the work. The work is networking and finding business. You know what I mean?
Well, and the thing,
because how many people can place a sign, but how many people can go get an order?
Yes, and that right there, that's the thing, is that a lot of people can do what we do, and we, at least for the main part. So I don't know if Caesar goes out there and installs the units himself, nor do I care. Yeah. I like him and I like doing business with him. So at one point, he can hire somebody that knows how to install the units, and he can just do the sales and marketing.
Right.
And he can create the system. However, most people don't think that way because, oh, well, I don't know, man, how much money. Now I got to pay an employee. Oh, I'm not sure about that, blah, 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 blah. It's horrible. I've told you guys about the time that I made $20,000 for my barber. Well, I'm at the point now where I don't really know if I want to go to the barber, because he's just he's got a dying business. And he's just got a very negative outlook at things, and he doesn't want to spend any money on marketing because he doesn't have anybody in there.
Right.
But he doesn't understand that that's how he's supposed to be. He's not supposed to be on the chair cutting hair. He's supposed to be marketing, filling up those chairs to other barbers and charging them fucking rent.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to be doing when you have multiple chairs.
Man, most contractors, they mess up at the very first step is the phone call. I mean, go to Craigslist and call 10 contractors, 9 of them won't
even answer.
Because it's their phone ringing in their pocket while they're working, you know what I mean? So, E-Myth, are you a secretary? Are you a receptionist? Well, no, so get a receptionist,
So,
step one.
Now guys, that you're consciously or consciously incompetent.
Yes.
Okay, so you understand that you don't know. Now, it's not that you don't know that you don't know. Now you know that you don't know. Now you need to learn how to go. Now you understand. You start reading books. You start understanding these concepts. And now you want to put some of the stuff in play. So I'm going to take the E-Myth, for example. The E-Myth actually tells you what to do step by step to build the business. Like, it literally tells you, it gives you the formula how to build the business step by step. And it uses Ray Kroc from McDonald's as an example. And if you guys have still not watched The Founder, have you watched The Founder?
Like 4 times. I love that movie.
It's amazing.
I love
it. Amazing. My favorite part, I will always say my favorite part, is when they're at the tennis court and they're redrawing the new McDonald's, the layout. And the guy is there with the chalk, and he's like, you guys do this, okay, this is not working, let me come here. And then at the end, by the end, he's like this conductor, kind of getting everything going, which I'm sure was done visually on purpose.
Right.
But he uses he uses Ray Kroc as an example on there. And even before Ray Kroc, the McDonald's brothers, they created what's known as a speedy system, right? They created the whole process of getting all this stuff going. But he gives you the step-by-step. So now you know that you don't know. Now you know that there's something that you need to know. Now you go and pick up the E-Myth, and you're like, okay, well, based on what Michael Gerber here is saying, I have to start this. I have to create a process. I have to give everybody a job. And initially it may be all me, but then I have to bring somebody else. Somebody else has to be the one, the receptionist. Somebody else has to be doing the marketing. Somebody else has to be doing the sales. Somebody else has to be doing it. And then those jobs need to be done. And some of those jobs you're going to take on yourself. But initially you want to work your way out of these. And then create processes for the whole thing. So now if your marketing guy gets sick, something happens, he gets hit by a bus or something, you can now replace him with somebody else. Or somebody else in the team can now go ahead and pick up that job until you replace him with somebody else. So now you are consciously competent. Okay, and I'm gonna put that on here. What we got? So we got Juan Ramon Salceda. It says, great topic, guys. Just got the E-Myth book. And I will tell you this, in most of the books, especially the E-Myth, study that book. Don't just read it. It's a nice thick book. You couldn't read it in one sitting. Well, I couldn't read it in one sitting anyway. But study the book. Like literally read the book over and over. Hello, how you doing? Study the book. Not only study the book, get the audio series and listen to that crap over and over and over and over, because you need it burned into your mind. I promise you, that will be the best thing that will happen to you as a business owner. The best advice you can get specifically for a business owner is this. So now go ahead.
Yeah, and starting with this, because how many business owners start it, they do it, they trial and error, and then they find something like this. So when you're documenting, when you're doing a system for the first time, when you're, figuring out how to hire your drivers, you knew to document the first time you did it, because otherwise you're gonna do it 10 times.
Yes.
So documenting it.
And that's the great thing, guys, is that with the E-Myth, it kind of tells you what to do. Unfortunately, though, most people are like me. I didn't know about the book till after I was in real estate, and even then I didn't pay attention or read the book till about 3 years later, after somebody had already told me, and then not only told me, but it's like, dude, this is where it's at, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it eventually, like whatever.
Know it all.
Know it all, right? Know it all, which is the worst thing you could do. But now, once I got into it, I was like, okay, now I'm consciously competent. Consciously competent is the space where everybody gets stuck. This is, out of the 4 steps, this is the one that is absolutely the hardest for people. Because now you are forced to change. So initially, you didn't know that you had to tie your shoe. You didn't even know what a shoe was. Then you say, okay, well, I know what a shoe is. I'd rather not tie my shoes. I want to get the Velcro. Right? Those were the coolest shoes growing up, by the way, man. Those Velcro shoes that my mom used to get at like Payless or whatever that shoe store was. Payless, right?
Payless, yeah, for sure.
Shoe store. So anyway,
that's where my mom went. I know that,
Yeah, for sure.
Until we got a little older, and we knew what cool shoes were.
So now I know that I don't know how to tie my shoes. But it gets to a point where I have to tie my shoes. Mom's like, look, man, you're in elementary now. You're in your second grade. Everybody around you knows how to tie your shoes. You need to learn how to tie your shoes. Let me show you how to tie your shoes. Here, son, let me show you, right? Now you could even go to YouTube and have some little kid show your kid or whatever. But anyway, you get the information. Now you as a kid, you know that you need to do something. Now you know how it needs to be done. But you need to consciously sit there and put a lot of mental effort into doing that. Okay, well, this goes here and goes around there and comes here and goes that way, and oh, I did it wrong. Oh, here goes this way and that way, and oh my God, that didn't work out. Oh my God, this is so hard. This is so hard. right? That is where everybody gets stuck in the real world. Like in the real world, that's where every single person gets stuck.
Yeah, luckily I have Papa to go teach all the time. I don't got the patience for that.
Well, and wherever it is, but you guys here might do it with your mental processes. You might be with real estate. You might be with just happiness in general, or whatever it is that you're choosing, whichever aspect of your life you're choosing. So, for example, here, this book he's talking about starts with why. Understanding your why is one of the most powerful things out there. Understanding that it's not about the how, it's about the why. Why is it that you want this? Why is it that you want to be successful? Why is it that you want to make a lot of money? All those things will help you stay the course whenever it gets hard, right? That's a big part of knowing the why.
And you know what? Everybody, whenever you're reading these books, you're going to hear it over and over that money can't be your why.
Yes.
And you know, I didn't really get that for a long time because money seems pretty damn important to me. You know what I mean? But
yes.
Yeah, eventually you get to a point where, okay, but if it wasn't money, then what? You know, you got to just dig. That's just not deep enough.
So we know this, right? We agree with this point. However, it's still going to be, we're still going to have episodes where we're like, well, the money. What about the money? Even though we know that we need to focus on the why. And that's the whole point of the conscious competent state. This is why it's so hard for people to do it, because you're so used to not doing it. You're so used to doing it your way that even when you learn, even when you agree, even when somebody shows you, like your mom, and she's like, here's how you tie your shoe. And you say, yeah, Mom, I know you taught me the bunny technique, but I want to do the 2 ears. They're like, well, you got, okay, whatever. Like, right? That is how this works. That is how this works all the time. So the example that I use all the time, the example that I always give to people that they seem to understand the most is hunching forward. We all do this. Mm-hmm. Every single one of us has this, and especially when you're on computer, especially when you're on the phone, we tend to roll our shoulders forward. Now, every single one of us has been taught for a very long time. Is yours freezing or?
No.
Yeah. So every single one of us has been taught for a very long time the good posture is you have to have your spine upright, you have to roll your shoulders back, and you have to have your head up high. We all know that. We all know that. However, we are always doing this. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now, and then you're going to be like, yeah, Brian's right. Let me straighten up. We're all good. We're all good. Within a few seconds, you're going to automatically do it, especially if you get distracted by something.
Habits.
Yes, but what keeps you staying up straight? You telling your mind, reminding your mind, we need to be up straight, we need to be up straight, we need to be up straight, we need to be up straight. Because if you weren't, automatically you'd go back to doing this. Now this is a metaphor for where you currently are in life. And this is a metaphor of what you need to be doing to change that. So these are your current actions right now. Just, oh yeah, you know, whatever. These are the actions that you need to be taking to do it. And it's going to take a whole lot of time, a whole lot of effort, a whole lot of constantly reminding yourself, all right, we're going to do this. And every single time. And I'm going to make a mark that every 5 minutes I'm reminding myself. So I made a freaking alarm on my phone that every 5 minutes it's going to go off and it's going to remind me to sit up straight. I promise you that every single one of those 5 minute marks you will be slouched over.
Yeah.
And you'll be doing it, and you have to constantly remind yourself. And as time goes on, as you do it, eventually, you know, let's say that you remind yourself and you put yourself together. And let's say that your average time is 5 seconds before you start rolling your shoulders forward, right? And you're like, But the more that you do it, you're gonna notice that, hey, not only are you catching yourself quicker, so your time that you were up, it was about 5 seconds. The time in between you catching yourself was about an hour before you even realized that you were slouching. Mm-hmm. The more that you put it out there, the more that you consciously work on that concept, the longer you will be able to hold it, and the quicker you'll be able to realize that it's there. So you'll be able to catch it quicker, and you'll be able to sustain it longer. And you continue doing it. day after day after day after day after day after day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. You get to that point where you're going to get to the tipping point where most of the time you're catching yourself and you're holding yourself up high as opposed to slouching like we all do. That is consciously competent in a nutshell. That is knowing what we need to do but not doing it anyway. Knowing and seeing the results of other people doing it but not doing it anyway. Knowing that we need to be eating right. Knowing that we need to be exercising. Knowing that we should be reading that book. Knowing that we should be watching that tape. How many times have I had a YouTube video on my desktop that I've already researched, and it takes me 3, 4 days, 5 days, 2 weeks before I even watch it.
Right.
Just because I get distracted, doing nothing, by the way. It's not like I'm super busy with shit, like completely doing nothing. Old habits. They come and they go, and this is why out of the 4 steps, everybody gets stuck in step number 3. Consciously competent. Because it's really easy to read this book. You know, I would guesstimate 160, 200 pages. Yep, 200 pages. So right about that. It's about a 200-page book. Okay? It's not, it's not the craziest. I'm looking at it here. It's not super big font either, but it's not tiny.
Our book club is planning to read it in 1 month, and you can get it you can see it for free on YouTube. It's 7 hours, 7.5 hours, something like that.
Now, the point of this is that you could sit there and read it over a weekend. Okay, you could be like, oh yeah, man, Mr. Simon here, he's got a lot of great points, and he's blah, 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 but none of that is going to matter until you start doing it. None of that's going to matter until you do it over and over and over and over again. Guys, it's not about just knowing why. It's not about just knowing that you need to know why. It's not about any of that. It's about actually doing it. And that's the hard part. That's where everybody messes up. They're consciously incompetent. I mean, they're consciously competent. They know what needs to be done, but they still don't do it because it takes a lot of hard work. I have known for a very long time that I needed to systemize my business. I've been told, and I've been telling people that I was going to do that for years. I knew for a fact that we need to write down, first step of systemizing the business is understanding where you're going and writing down every single thing that you do. Every single thing that needs to be done for your business. I understood that. People would tell me, I'd be like, yeah. Jeff would tell me every Tuesday, yeah, that sounds great. I need to do that. Business systems, that's where it's at. Read or listen to the email. Oh yeah, man, Mike Gerber, that makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah. Never did any of that shit, ever. When I did, it was a fucking pain in the ass. It literally took us probably 8 hours. Like me and Christina were just tired of looking at this shit, man. We were so mentally exhausting. Oh my God, it was so fucking hard. It was so hard. And that wasn't even us systemizing the whole thing. That was just going over and breaking down every single step that needs to happen, whether it's done by us or somebody else. Every single step.
Every step. Like you said, it has to be so simple, stupid, that anybody can figure it out. Let's get a quick little shout out. We got JT Turner in the house.
Nice.
Alex Sanchez in the house. And Sarah, I'm going to give it a shot. Yegzarian.
That's not Sarah, by the way. That's Sergey.
Sorry.
I always say your name wrong. You were supposed to hit me up. He was in town.
Sorry, Yegzarian.
Yeah, he said he wanted to meet up. He was in town for the Great Cardone thing. Where was that? But I forget. I was busy or some shit. Yes. Sadie, that's what he goes by. So
that works.
He's good friends with Carlos and Sal.
Oh, nice.
From Nationwide. We did a show with them.
Thanks for watching, Zadie. Appreciate it. We got Melissa Lutman also.
Yes, thank you for joining us, Melissa. So anyway, guys, consciously competent. You know what needs to be done, but you have to put a lot of conscious energy into this. This is I know that I'm getting up every single day to go to the gym. I made a commitment. It's really hard not to go, but I'm going to go. Every single time you're consciously putting in the effort as to what it is that you're moving forward. You're consciously moving in that direction. You're training your mind not to go. The other metaphor that I use, the other example that I tell people is, imagine if you have a river that's running one way. And we all look at the Grand Canyon, we all know about the Grand Canyon was carved by the Colorado River, right? So literally a one river just running water carved such a deep groove that now it known as the Grand Canyon. Before it became that big though, it was carving the groove. Every single time the water would move, it would carve the groove. Let's say that I wanted to move that water from going to the right to moving to the left. I have to build a dam or something. I have to find a way to start creating. And then I have to build a original groove, which is what you're doing right now. Consciously competent. You know, okay, well, shit, if I just build the water and I can build a dam this way, and I can, you know, let's say you start off as a farmer, you don't know why your crops are dying, I don't know where to get water, somebody tells you, hey man, here's what you do. Oh shit, I didn't even know that I could do that. Well, great, let me go figure out how to do that. Now you're consciously competent. Now you're doing it. Now you're constantly going. What's going to happen is that ridge, that groove, moving everything to the right, is never going to go away. It's always going to be there.
Right.
Even if you build a dam, even if you shape the stuff moving, you're moving everything to the left, the water is always going to want to go to the right. You have to constantly be rebuilding your dam. You have to constantly be moving the water into that direction because it's so used to going to the right and you want it to go to the left. That takes a lot of freaking work. And that's where everybody fucks up. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do, but nobody does it because of the conscious effort that it takes. So it's not about, oh, well, you know, I got to do it. No, I got to remember. Okay, well, everything's about the why. It starts about the why. Well, before I even consider anything, before I say yes to my wife, before I say yes to the next business deal, before I do this, I got to remember the author talked about it's about the why. You know, it's about the why. It's about the why. So you're constantly always, because if you don't, given unchecked, your mind will do what comes natural to it. Your mind will automatically start to slouch when it's you're supposed to be sitting up. And you have to remind yourself, we're sitting up, we're sitting up, we're sitting up, we're sitting up. Okay, and then it happens. Oh, well, there you go. You caught me. I caught you. Now let's go back to sitting up, sitting up, sitting up, sitting up. And that is conscious competence.
And so, and that's going to be one, you know, that's such a wide-ranging thing because this is in the stage where now you know all of these things, you know what I mean? And you got to really work on all of them. So this is where, you know, great books come in to where, you know, these are going to leave the clues. That's where, you know, Rich Dad's processes, you know, that's where, like you said, reading it, listening to it, so it's beat into your brain. Whenever we go to the Tuesday mornings, you might be writing, you might be hearing Jeff in your peripheral, right? And you're still going to spit out the answer because it's ingrained. You know, you've created that groove.
It's been so ingrained in me of personal development, specifically the book The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, specifically the Phoenix Super Cent Club here in Phoenix that I attend to every single Tuesday, which is my mastermind group that I attend. Dude, he says the same shit pretty much every single week.
Yep.
Sometimes he gets on a kick about this particular topic or that topic, but as an overall general, he says the exact same shit every single week. But I go every single week religiously. It's been about 70 years now that I've been going every single week. And I do that specifically because I need to be reminded. You know, when I first started going there, he talked about passive income forever. That was his big thing. And these are on the book too here, but financial freedom and passive income. Financial freedom is having enough money coming in without you having to work that you can live your desired lifestyle, without you depending on anybody or anything for money. Just gotta buy your assets.
It's real simple. And talk about being unconsciously incompetent. 80% of America doesn't even know that.
No.
They don't even think about it.
They don't even, they think about how much money can I make?
Yeah.
What can I do? If I need extra money, I need to get another job. You know, I just need to work a little bit harder right now. And let me get some of that overtime. coming in. Like I don't. They don't even understand the concept of that.
Because they always think that they're always going to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't think that life happens. You know, what happens if someone gets sick? What happens if you lose a leg? What happens if lots of things? You know.
So I didn't know that that's what I had to do, and then I ran into Jeff, and I was like, dude, that's what I want to do. And then he's like, well, here's how you do it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. It took me, and I've said this before. It took me about 3 years of Jeff beating this into my head before I actually said, you know what, I'm gonna actually take action to this. Then it took about another year of me putting it out there saying, okay, I'm actually take action on it before I actually started doing anything about it. Mm-hmm. And then it took about another year before I actually started getting something to it. Like I actually got my first piece of passive income. And then it took about a few other years to be able to build on that passive income streams. Now, the point that I'm trying to make is from the very beginning, from the very first time that I sat down with Jeff, from the very first time that I heard him speak, I said, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Hell yeah, passive income is where it's at. That's what I want. Like that's what's up. I still didn't do it. Consciously competent. You have to consciously remind yourself. And I'm always, dude, I've read the book. We study this book. So I have actually studied the book. I'm going on my plus 10th time. It's got to be more than 10 times since I've done it. It is ridiculous. So we got, let me see, we got Sadie over here saying, great knowledge drop, guys. Thank you. We got Robert Leftwich in the house.
Hey, what's up, Robert?
Sadie here says that this stuff is gold. And I agree, guys. And if you guys agree with this message, if you guys find it useful, make sure that you share the information. Make sure that you're liking the AZ Flip, guys. Make sure that you follow. We'll do another episode specifically about the law of attraction, but right now we're just talking about mindset. And the thing is that my mindset was so jacked up, so fucked up from the beginning that even after years of going, of liking, of agreeing, of studying, I still didn't do shit with it. And that's most of you people out there. That is the sad reality of our state. That's how we do it. You can agree to that or not, but that's exactly what we do. We are that fucked up in the head. We're so used to our own little bubble that we never go anywhere. But now let's say that you got everything and you're moving things into perspective and things finally start moving. Guess what happens? People stop. We see this all the time with the 2% Club. Mm-hmm. People show up for a month or two, a few months, they get something out of it, they close their first deal, and all of a sudden, no. People to this day that will say, oh, Jeff, you're my mentor, you're the best. Them motherfuckers never show up. Never ever show up. And they all have different excuses as to why they would or why they won't, or family or work or here or there or whatever the case might be. But people don't really take this shit seriously. They want to go to the meetings when they're like, oh yeah, let's talk about numbers, and where did you get your deals, and marketing, and all this other horse shit that's not going to do anything to you because the market will change on your ass. Mm-hmm. Every single time. You know, we've talked about this before. There's many millionaires out there who have made it and lost it, made it and lost it, made it and lost it, made it and lost it. Because they know, they have the mindset, they know what it takes to make it.
They have what we all have. It's and Jeff teaches us, it's our financial thermometer. That really resonates with me. You know, just think of it as a thermometer. Our president, right, Donald Trump, is set to rich.
Yeah.
He's been broke before, right? He's been broke several times, I believe. One of the greatest parts of his books that I love is he walked out, saw a homeless guy, and he's like, I don't know the number, but that guy's worth $500 million more than me because he was negative. But people are always going to go back to where they are. Lottery winners, right? Lottery winners go there, but they don't change who they are, and so their financial thermometer, they're always going to go right back down.
There was a couple in my church, and when we grew up in a very poor church, very poor people, and dude, they won the lottery, and within, I want to say within a year, they were broke. We're not connected to the internet.
Again? Did this happen again?
Motherfucker, yeah, the internet just shut down. It's all the internet.
I think it happened at the exact same time as last time.
Maybe. Great American Title.
Son of a bitch. I think at 1:07 every day it cuts out or something, dude. We're done.
We will just reset it. It just actually
I think this one's going still.
barely. Well, fuck it. Let's God damn it. Yeah, we may need to do it at the house then. Cause that's bullshit.
That was like the exact same time, dude. It's gotta be. Alright,
Are we live again?
should be in just a second.
Yeah, no, cause my shit hasn't reloaded either.
There we are, we're live again.
Alright, cool. Well, we are back here, guys. We'll see if this keeps us on the same thread or nope, this is a brand new, whatever. Okay. We'll continue. Let me see. Sounds good. Alright, cool. So, fuck it. Here we go, guys. We are back. Are we? We're back?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I was talking about conscious competent. I was talking about